Industrial Talk is brought to you by Palo Alto Networks. You've heard me talk about my friends at Palo Alto Networks, Zero Trust OT Security, delivering a comprehensive security solution for all OT assets, networks, and remote operations. But did you know that the Palo Alto Network solution provides over 1,100 app IDs for OT protocols, over 500 profiles for critical OT assets, and over 650 OT-specific threat signatures? Now that's best-in-class security delivered. Learn more about Palo Alto Network's Zero Trust OT security solutions and how you can achieve 351% ROI over 5 years. Learn more about the Palo Alto Network solution by going out to paloaltonetworks.com. That's paloaltonetworks.com.
Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, welcome to Industrial Talk, the leader in industrial podcasting. It is the number one industrial podcast in the universe, and I'm not overselling that one bit. And it is dedicated to industrial professionals all around the world because you're bold, you're brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you solve problems, and you're making the world a better place. And as you can tell by the buzz in the background, we are at Fabtech, Chicago, Illinois. And it is a collection of incredible manufacturers destined to solve your problem. If you're in manufacturing, you need to put this bad boy on your calendar. And by the paper in my hand, as you can hear the paper in my hand, they have 3 events that are coming up in 2024. So if you're in Mexico, you need to attend it, and it's in Monterey. And if you're in Canada, it's in Toronto. Go out to the Fabtech website. You can find out more. And then, of course, finally, in Orlando, we got it October 15th to the 17th. That's where they will have next year's Fabtech. In the hot seat, we have 2. We have 2 professionals with Schuler, which is the company, Chris McMahon and Gurinder. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Schuler's and their conference and all of the good stuff. So let's get cracking. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
No complaint. I don't want to complain. Yeah. I don't think Gurinder will want to hear me complain.
Nope.
He said, whatever. Yeah. You guys having a good conference?
We are.
Yes, indeed.
What makes it good? What do you think makes it good? Because I've got my idea, but I'm not going to sit there and feed you
That's
lines.
A great question. I think
is
it's
a great question.
Foot traffic leads. I mean, the age-old question of a trade show, are you conspicuous by your absence? Did you get the business because you were there, or would you have had the business anyway? So I would say foot traffic for me. How about you, Gurinder? What's a good show?
Oh, for me, it's like exchanging technology, knowledge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to learn around with people.
Yeah, it changes so rapidly, you know. It's just one of those things where we were here last year, not here. Yeah, it was in Atlanta last year. And just in 1 year, it's one of those things where you go, wow, they're doing that now? Oh, that's cool. That's a neat little technology. Anyway, that's what I've seen. Before we get into this conversation about Schuler, give us a little background. Gurinder, you're first.
Okay, so I've been working with Schuler for around 13 years.
What? I can't put the... I started at 5.
Oh, that's really right. So, but as compared to Schuler, I'm just 13-year-old, and it is 183 years old. So that's a lot. And they have been into the sheet metal forming, supplying presses, automation to the automotive tier 1s, forging companies worldwide.
I'm always dumbfounded. It happens every time I come to an event like this, and what it is that you see sort of in a very consolidated. Don't get me wrong, it's a big venue, but all together you see the amount of economy that it's just buzzing and people doing some great things, and you just don't know until you walk up and down and you go, really? Somebody's doing that?
Yep.
That's important? I didn't know that. And it is.
Absolutely.
It's all important. Chris, give us background.
Chris, just joined Schuler coming up on a year. Before that, and my background was in metal stamping, wire form, seating, automotive seating, calling on the Magnas. Seating.
No way, really?
Yeah, seat frames, seat cushions, seat backs.
See?
Exactly.
There it is.
And I bet you didn't know that 20 million head restraints are made in North America alone. For
head restraints.
Head restraints, yeah. CNC bent tubes. CNC bent tubes and chrome tubes. So with the company I was with, we were 20% market share in that segment. Yeah. Who would have thunk it?
No.
So.
Again, now, like the chairs we're sitting on, I'm going, okay, I've seen people bend these things, it's just happening and forming it. All right, let's get into the conversation, and we're going to start with you, Gurinder. Tell us a little bit about just Schuler in general from a company perspective.
I would say it's a really large corporation. We are as good as the largest manufacturer of the presses worldwide, present in around 40 countries. Oh, the good part is all the coins that we are using in our pockets, they are minted on Schuler presses.
See, it's things like that. I didn't know that. Just true. Do you need the press? Oh gosh, how do we? There's a lot of press people in this room, and for me, how do I tell the difference between that's a pretty cool looking press because it's all cool looking, right? Versus that's a cool looking press. How do you differentiate that product?
I'm still learning myself. It's a great question, and like I said, just joined Schuler about a year ago, so I'd have to defer to Gurinder. I mean, more the elder person with the company. So I'm
13 years.
I'm still learning. I'd like to know myself.
So it's over to you. How do you differentiate? I mean, there's press. You've seen the presses. You've walked by the presses. Yes. Big, small, in between.
Yep.
How does one? I don't know how.
Oh, there are a lot of parameters when you consider and you walk into a shop floor when you see these presses. So it all depends what exactly the customer or the client intends to manufacture. Based on that, then you have the parameters like looking at the tolerances that you can achieve, the stamping that you're going to do, the material, the operational people, whether you're going to do it manually or are you going to use any automation into it. So there are a lot of parameters which come into the play when you are looking at a press.
See, but then again, it's because I'm a professional, manufacturer, and I would know these things.
Yes.
But in your 13 years, you must have seen some massive changes that have been taking place within your industry.
Oh yes.
Give us an example of some of the changes that are just...
One of the major thing what I foresee or have seen in the last 13 years, that was earlier it was completely labor intensive. So people had to put in whatever manufacturing you're doing. So for example, take a sheet metal forming. The workers used to put the sheet metal from into a blank form into the press, take it out again. Now, which is almost more than 60% of the presses worldwide are being automated. So there are robots all around. They are doing the job. It's much more faster now. You can get better productivity from your presses, which was indeed very less as compared to what we are today.
Is there an improved quality?
Yes, indeed.
Because it has to. Your tighter tolerances.
Tolerances, yeah. The steel has changed. So earlier, people used to manufacture it through the cast iron route. Most of the large press equipments like the bed or the crown, if you see, they were casted. So now people are also moving to nodular cast iron for a few of the presses, so which gives you better steel quality, better tolerances. So if you are machining these presses out with precise machining, then you have got much more lesser tolerances to achieve on these presses.
See, Chris, as a relatively new individual to Schuler, what has been some of that impactful? You're saying, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Share with us a little bit of your insights in that.
Just what's been impactful for me is the team and the technology around the Schuler presses, and seeing folks like Gurinder. We've got folks that have been with the company for 30 years, and Gurinder's just 13. People with the company for 30 years, 30. So that's what's impressed me. But like I said, I'm still learning that technology, and it's nice to see the competition at shows like this and see, how we believe Schuler is superior in many ways.
Yeah, what other solutions does Schuler provide other than just press? Is there other solutions that Schuler provides?
Automation, one of the other things.
Go ahead.
Automation, and one of the things that, my role with Schuler is hydroforming. So we provide hydroforming presses called Gurinder, but if you don't want to buy a press, we can provide you with hydroform parts. So hitches, roof rails, A-pillars, B-pillars, structural members of the automotive and non-automotive industry.
Explain for the listeners out there when you say hydroforming.
Yeah.
Give us that process.
Specifically tubular hydroforming. So you have a tube, you load it into a die, you seal the ends, and you fill it with water. You're using a liquid, effectively a liquid mandrel. So a lot of your oven handles, your side-by-side refrigerator handles many years ago were done with hydroforming. You can have some amount of expansion on the ends typically. Unfortunately, a lot of that's gone the way of roll formers, and we see a lot of that here today at Fabtech. But a lot of your hitches, your trailer hitches are hydroformed, so you load it, you press bend.
Did not know that.
You can press bend, you can add shape, you can add strength, pierce a couple holes. So it's more of a mold process, but it goes in a stamping press. So that's one of the unique solutions. We're a niche at Schuler in Canton, in Michigan, and the Detroit area. We offer hydroform production.
That's I didn't know that. That's really
thank you for
cool.
asking. Not a lot of people do.
Yeah,
so.
no, that is something else. I really appreciate the explanation, Gurinder. Where do you see some of the? I mean, Schuler has to be in the world of innovation. You can't, especially today. You can't rest on your laurels. We got a great name, and you have to constantly look at other ways of responding to the market and what the market demands. What are some of the things that are taking place within Schuler that sort of looking down the road a little bit?
Schuler invests a lot of amount of, say, engineering hours, knowledge in the research and development. We are 183 years old, but we are still learning. That's the biggest part. So, 183 multiplied by 5,000 employees we have. So the number of man hours we have put into the last, so much, knowledge. Then we are exchanging with the customers. So sometimes when you have given a press to a customer, he comes back, he gives you certain solutions.
Yes.
And then you try to put it onto your presses, improve it more so that you can give much more to the customers which are coming to you.
And that's a great question, and this is going to be going to you, Chris. Is there a sort of a user community? Because based off of what Gurinder was saying, which is pretty cool, hey, we're going to take what the user who's out there in the field doing what the user does and be able to sort of put that into, there's got to be this sort of process of evaluating, that's good. Does that exist?
Oh, absolutely. We've done that on our hydroforming side back when the F-150 2012, 2014 when it went all aluminum. So we worked with Ford. We worked with our tier 2, tier 3 customers as well as our company to develop standards around hydroforming, specifically for tubular hydroforming. So it's a good little case study of what we've been able to do around that same concept that Gurinder explained. Yeah,
one of the things that always dazzles me is also the speed of that innovation, the speed of how things change and the demands of the market saying, hey, we want it even tighter tolerances. We want this, that, and the other thing. And Schuler and others, you're competing for that innovation. You're listening. You got to. I think there's a lot of energy there. Gurinder, where do you see it going? Like if you were a future, what do you think the next shoe to drop from a technology innovation component? Where do you see it going outside of the automation, which is is going to continue to be that way?
Oh yes, a couple of things. That the pie is bigger when I talk about the passenger cars. So EVs are coming in.
Yes.
So the engine completely is going off, but it is going to take time, some decades or some centuries, I would say. But answering your question, it's like, we are looking for more mileage. So that means lighter weight. So the new materials are coming in. So you have to work with, earlier, say a couple of years back, we were only working with steels, different type of steels. Now it's aluminum. Some of the people are also experimenting with magnesium.
No, no kidding.
Oh yeah, it's much lighter than aluminum. So
Wow.
people are doing it. Though they are finding, oh yes, then the lighter the vehicle, the more mileage you can get onto your car.
There's just so much going on out there. I'm so amazed that I think it would be important for young people to come and see what goes on and just sort of soak it up, just to recognize that pretty much everything is made by somebody and requires that ability to be able to do it. I don't know. You guys are rock stars in my point. How do they get a hold of you, Gurinder? If they say, hey, I want to know more. How does somebody get a hold of you?
So they get interested first, and then they ask you, oh, okay, tell us more. Tell us more about what exactly Schuler is doing. Then they indeed get you into it, and then you have to explain more.
Yeah. How do they get a hold of you? What would be the best way? Are you out on LinkedIn?
Oh, yes, I am. Search me on LinkedIn by the name Gurinder Singh under North America.
How many Gurinder Singhs are out there?
Oh, you can search me by Gurinder Singh Schuler Incorporated.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure there's a few out there.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And you, Chris, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Chris McMahon, just like Ed, if anybody remembers the Tonight Show. And always check us out at SchulerGroup.com.
Very good, man. All right. We're going to have all the contact information for these two gents out on Industrial Talk, so fear not. You need to reach out to these two and connect because they're doing some great things at Schuler. All right. We are broadcasting once again from Fabtech here in Chicago, Illinois. It's a great event. Put that on your calendar for next year. It's going to be in Orlando here in the United States. October, 15th through the 17th. Oh, there. Yes, make it happen, Captain. All right. We're going to wrap it up on the other side. Thank you for joining Industrial Talk. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Isn't it amazing? It's an amazing what services and solutions exist out there in the world of industry. I never get bored. Schuler is a great company. Presses. And of course, Team Gurinder and Chris absolutely nailing it in this conversation. Now all of a sudden I just look around and I think of all of the items we have that we just take for granted that are produced by pressing machines. Like everything is. There's so much that goes on, and I love Fabtech just because of the reason for just seeing all of this stuff in action. Go out to Fabtech. It's a must. All the contact information for these two gents will be out in industrialtalk.com. All right. Again, it is a platform. Industrial Talk is a platform that is dedicated to industrial professionals, and your voice needs to be heard. Go out to industrialtalk.com. And up at the top, you can say subscribe, but then you'll get in touch with me. Or you want to collaborate? Let's make it happen. Make it happen because your voice needs to be heard. We're going to have another great conversation shortly.